All right, just doing a little cleanup today. I welded the wheel tub to the floor panel. Haven't cleaned it up or grounded or anything yet, but I'll get that all smoothed up and touched up. Also mounted up the spare tire anchor point. Another don't do what I did moment. I think I screwed up. I asked my buddy Louie at First Gen Garage to send me some measurements on where that is in a convertible, and he did, and here they are. Problem is, I didn't consider I put in mini tubs, so I'm 2 3/4 inches or 2.5 inches further in this way on that tub, so where the tire would normally lay over that portion of the frame bump right there and up on that lip a little bit, I'm not sure I have room now. So realistically, I should have cheated that over the 2 1/4 inches, and the bottom of it just pretty much lines up on that break in the floor right there. Yeah, right there. And and it was like 9 inches from the wall over here is the measurement that Louis gave me. And he took that off his Camaro the Firebird convertible he just bought for his wife. And you can see, obviously, he hasn't started it yet. But if you're going to do mini tubs, I think you should bump that over 2 1/4 just to give yourself the same amount of room for the spare. So might have hurt myself there, thinking maybe I should just buy another one of those. They're only a few bucks, because I'm pretty sure if I grind that one off, I'm not going to have anything left. But I could grind it off, just buy another one, cheat it over 2.5 inches that way, and I would be okay. Now, I just started welding up this tub over here, and when I'm doing something like that, sheet metal to sheet metal, there's not a lot of anchor there. So I just took a piece of 1/8 inch TIG rod and bent it around there, laid it in there tight, tacked it, and then this will give me a good thermal sink to put a nice bead on the top and bottom all the way around this. That way I can, I have more, I'm not warping material, I'm not burning through the light tin. I've also got to put a small patch on this hole, and thinking that I can, because this is just where the mini tub metal was just a little bit different than the stock metal. And if I just put a little patch in here, little L shape, that'll be fine. It'll look good. And so that's what I'm working on now. I did go through and finish grinding and dressing the welds on the seat back brace. Got that all in. Gave them some little shot of epoxy. Got that all sealed up. So that's looking good. I'll bring you back when I get this done, but just running through a few more points, things that need to be just dealt with before I get to the next phase on this body. So that's where we're at. I'll bring you back when I have more. So you can see I didn't go too crazy with the grinding. I just wanted to put in a nice fillet, or a radius in that corner. I didn't want to take too much of the bead out. I don't really need to make it disappear, because I'm going to put seam sealer over that anyway, and that'll cover that right up after everything's in epoxy. This is my, where is it? There it is. This is my favorite tool for doing like fillet radius sanding or grinding. It's like a flap wheel, but it's a small 2-inch one. It works really nice for stuff like this, where you're trying to work in a corner. And again, I didn't want to make it disappear. I don't need to make it disappear, but I was just going to try to get, I got to grind that little patch a little bit more. You can see where I put that in. But this is all going to be covered with seam sealer. So I just wanted to make sure I had a good solid weld, a good fillet, so that when I seam seal over everything, it will disappear. So that is what I'm doing there. Now I've got to head up to this side, start grinding that one out, put another little patch in over that hole, and another little hole right there, screw hole. So yeah, that's where we're at. And here's what they look like cleaned up. Just went ahead and ground those, put the plates in there to cover up that little patch hole. I also took a minute and put a support from the rotisserie down to the rear bumper hole. I didn't feel like the shackle mount was enough by itself, so I just put a couple little supports in there. The other thing I did was I took a minute and right over here and just put a little bit of fiberglass filler down over those slits and the patch welds I had to put in for that, just to make sure that they're sealed and good to go. Same thing on this side. I ended up getting into the wheel welds and stripping those out completely, stripping the paint off them. I had used a primer that I was not very happy with. I only used it that once on those mini tubs, and it was scratching off really easy. So I stripped it all back off there, put some of the epoxy on, epoxied that all up. Did a little bit of filler work on there too, on that slit, just to cover it up. Can't really see it that well, but got that cleaned up as well. And that's about it. Pretty sure for my next weekend, I'm gonna start working on the pedal assemblies. The clutch, the hydraulic clutch, the brake, the booster, get the new pedal assembly in there, make sure everything lines up right, fabricate whatever I have to do for I think I'm gonna want a clutch switch, so I'm gonna have to rig one of those, but that shouldn't be ridiculous. And that box there is the 9-inch Ford differential turned up. It is a torque worm posi with 370 gears. So that's where I ended up, and I'll probably get that out and start getting that cleaned up, prepped, painted, and ready to go for when the rear end and the rest of the frame gets here. So again, just cleaning up a few points on the body, getting ready to move to the next stage of this. I got some more stuff to do on this. Obviously, I want to strip the entire body down on the outside panels, do a nice coat of spray epoxy on that. But I've got some metal work to do on those doors. There's some tin knocking that needs to be done. There's a few dents that can be worked out, but that'll be good. And then I can get this into one nice uniform coat of epoxy on the outside, because a lot of this is still EDM primer from the panels, obviously, and the consensus is you want to get that off there, because anything can happen under that stuff. And I've actually seen it bubbling up in a few places on this as well. So yeah, that's about it for right now. We'll get into it more next weekend. Had some people over this weekend, so I didn't get a whole lot of time up here, but I got a day, and some really great kids come over, played on the lake, had a good time. So it's always fun with the little ones. So anyway, that's it for this weekend, and we will carry on and figure out what to do next.